welcome back to the October Premiere Challenge here at Psycho Turtle Collectibles in Pico Rivera. Dennis Geisler, Emotional Support Pikachu, with you once again. We're about to get into round number 4 here in the Swiss stage of this tournament. Grant Weldon and Brian Collins here. Both of them at 3-0, looking to move to 4-0 here in the Swiss stage. For Grant, it's Tornadus, Regidrago, Golden Go, Urshifu, Single Strike, excuse me, that is Urshifu Rapid Strike, Ridgerath, and Rillaboom. For Brian, it's Armarouge, the female, and Didi, Torkoal, Urshifu Single Strike, Gallade, and Ursaluna, the Hisuian form, not the Blood Moon form. Some interesting stuff here. You've got the Regidrago, who's definitely picked up a little bit of popularity. Definitely is interesting into this matchup with the Tailwind support, potentially, especially against a team that is pretty slow for the most part, particularly with the Trick Room side. Brian with a pretty heavy Trick Room team. It's the Torkoal that doesn't have the Hisuian Lilligant to pair along with it, so it doesn't really have that mixed speed control that you can potentially pull out with the Torkoal and with that Sun team. But at the same time, there is still a lot of speed in that Choice Scarf Single Strike Urshifu, who can come in and throw out a Wicked Blow or even a U-turn if it's needed to. Plenty of options here. Also, Ridgerath has the Imprisoned Trick Room, so there is the possibility of just getting Trick Room out of the way entirely. See how Brian can even try to deal with that. That can definitely shut down Brian's team pretty consistently. Away we go into round number 4 here. Game 1 between these two again. Both these undefeated in the tournament so far, both 3-0. Regidrago and Ridgerath for Grant, and it's Gallade and Urshifu for Brian. This Gallade is interesting. Safety Goggles has Sharpness for the ability, Sacred Sword, Psycho Cut, Trick Room, Protect. So this is another Trick Room setter on this team. Seems to be largely invested, largely trained for its attack and not really for its speed. Seems fairly low by my personal standards. But at the same time, these are two Pokemon that don't fully rely on Trick Room. And it leaves Grant with the option, okay, do you want to imprison? Make sure the Trick Room's off the table? What do you do about this Urshifu situation? Early Terastallization here. Will be Brian Terastallizing Urshifu in the Dark type. This thing will hit really hard. Potentially going to throw out a big Wicked Blow. Protect from the Gallade. Urshifu with a Wicked Blow. And it's into the Regidrago. Solid damage, and it picks up the one-hit knockout. Big damage from the Regidrago, or excuse me, into the Regidrago, and that is immediately going to shut down one of the big targets on Grant's team, basically for free. The Imprison comes up for Grant, so no one on Brian's team is able to use Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, or Trick Room. There's only one Dazzling Gleam user, no Psychic users, but obviously that Trick Room is more important for the opposing team. But at the same time, it means that there just isn't a Regidrago anymore, and Urshifu still has an opportunity to throw out another big Wicked Blow. Gallade swapped out. Indeedee will be sent in, so it'll reset the terrain to the Psychic terrain. Really the only terrain in this metagame that will stop the grassy terrain is that Psychic terrain from the female Indeedee. Terastallization coming out. It is the Fairy Terra for Ridgerath on Grant's side, so both Terastallizations have been used. The type advantage goes to Grant, although Brian does have just a lot of damage. Rillaboom, Fake Out, can't go through the Psychic terrain, so the Urshifu will still get the hit off. Wicked Blow, targeting the Rillaboom. Ooh, doesn't get the one-hit knockout. Very close, though. The Dazzling Gleam from Ridgerath will do some real damage. Will not one-hit knock out the Urshifu, and that Urshifu will get another opportunity to just keep pumping out damage. Indeedee can try to do something. I don't know what the Indeedee can really do at this point. The Trick Room is imprisoned. It can Helping Hand follow me. It can't Dazzling Gleam, so all it can really do is Helping Hand and follow me. But the Dazzling Gleam will probably finish off the Urshifu regardless, and the Urshifu will probably take down a Rillaboom regardless. So I don't really know what the decision's going to be between these two. Indeedee's just going to swap out, realizing not a whole lot to be done, switch it out anyways. Get the Armor Rouge in with the Psychic Terrain. Wicked Blow comes out once more, lands onto the Rillaboom, and that's a knockout. 2 knockouts logged for that Urshifu already. And I think that'll be the last knockout it's going to be able to pick up. The Dazzling Gleam finishes off the Urshifu. Small chip damage to Armor Rouge. It's not very effective. Fairy into... Ooh, but it was a critical hit. Wow. How was that little damage into the critical hit? Urshifu falls. That Urshifu single strike falling off a little bit. Wicked Blow reducing in power between generations, coming into Scarlet and Violet. And still showing that it can do some real damage. So now it's Indeedee and Armor Rouge, 2 best friends hanging out once more. We've seen it for a long, long time in Scarlet and Violet. Basically since the beginning, Armor Rouge and Indeedee have been the best of friends. And here in this situation, once again, no Dark types on Grant's side. So able to just throw out Expanding Force if they want, but they don't have the speed priority necessarily. Goldengo will protect. See what goes next. It's the Indeedee with the priority follow me. So if it's Dazzling Gleam again, it doesn't matter. So for a Giraffe, we'll get the Dazzling Gleam off. Should do slight damage to both of them. Indeed it does. Armor Rouge uses the Heat Wave. Obviously protected by Goldengo. Lands on for Giraffe, does about half of its HP. Pretty solid damage. It's a Life Orb for the Armor Rouge. I'm personally partial to the Twisted Spoon to do a little bit more damage on that Expanding Force, but here, I have to do a bit more damage on the Heat Wave. Very valuable in this situation. So that Armor Rouge is certainly threatening to both of these Pokemon. A Heat Wave will do a ton of damage to Goldengo, will probably get pretty close to knocking out for a Giraffe. It's Follow Me again from Indeedee. So still not too much damage. It's the Make It Rain. And it does finish off the Indeedee, does not finish off the Armor Rouge. The Armor Rouge does probably have not a whole lot of time left. That was a lot of damage to take. The Dazzling Gleam, no, it's the Psychic coming through. That'll do enough damage to knock it out. And that'll be it for the Armor Rouge. And it is the Gallade, is the last Pokemon left in. I knew I was forgetting something. It's the Gallade. But not a whole lot that this Gallade can do right now. It's hit pretty hard by Psychic, it's hit pretty hard by Shadow Ball, and Brian will call it anyways. Game number 1 to Grant. Very well played early on. Ate a ton of damage from the single striker Shifu, but even still, if you're able to stop that Trick Room, there isn't a lot that any of these Pokemon, barring Urshifu, can really do. There's just a lot of... There are a lot of Pokemon on this team that really need Trick Room to function, and when Farigiraf is just able to sit there and not really take any damage and throw out damage at any opportunity, it's able to do kind of whatever it wants. And then stops the Trick Room team from using Trick Room. So, we'll see what Brian wants to do here. In my opinion, I think it's probably the best idea to try to prioritize that Trick Room, or try to prioritize dealing with that Farigiraf, because that was something in the last one, is that the Regidrago was taken out immediately, and that probably wasn't a bad decision, but the Farigiraf did not Terastallize on the first turn. Probably would have taken a ton of damage to that Urshifu. Might have even gotten knocked out in one hit by Urshifu. And so the question is, if you're Brian, is that a better option? You take more damage from Regidrago, but it's scary for sure. But if it means that the Imprison doesn't get up and you're able to Trick Room on the first turn, is that worth it? Do you even know that you're going to be able to take down Farigiraf? Can you know for sure that you're not going to get beaten out by that Terastallization, which will basically invalidate the game for you. Who's to say? We'll find out, I suppose. Round number 4. Grant looking to push to 4-0. Brian also looking to push to 4-0. Both these players undefeated going into round number 4 here. For Shifu and Gallade, once again, same leads from each side. Regidrago and Farigiraf. Like, Regidrago. Like it's shiny. It's cool. Now, some contemplation from each of these players. You definitely say that Grant was caught a little bit off guard by the earlier Shifu strong style, or excuse me, single strike, wicked blow last time. Strong style is not is not in this one. Ursaluna, I guess, could do that before in the distant past. But in any case, some options here. It'll be Regidrago switching out. Regidrago's not going to take anything at all. Rillaboom coming in. Set up the grassy terrain. Not that that'll do a whole lot of present. And Terastallization once again. The early Terra. It is the Urshifu once again. See what the choice will be. This choice Scarf, it'll be the fastest thing here. Has the opportunity to send out a nasty Wicked Blow. And the Terastallization is matched by Grant. So if it goes for the Wicked Blow into the Farigiraf, that'll be very bad for the Urshifu to use its first turn and its Terastallization on that. Decision will be Wicked Blow into the Rillaboom. Rillaboom will take that hit, but not with a whole lot of health remaining. The Imprison does get up, and Gallade cannot use Trick Room. So Gallade did try to use the Trick Room with the Imprison and just wasn't able to. And now, definitely a lot of... It's very similar to the first game, except Regidrago is still kicking. Regidrago is still able to put up pressure right now. Rillaboom will use Grassy Glide. Armorage did not switch in, so the priority move is not blocked. Wicked Blow comes out once more. That'll finish off the Rillaboom for sure. And now we'll see another Dazzling Gleam coming out of this Farigiraf. Does... Ooh, the knockout onto Urshifu. A lot of damage there. And that'll finish off the Terastallized Urshifu. Just one of its 2 KOs this time. Regidrago still up in the back. Psycho Cut onto Farigiraf. That did really good damage. Surprised that the Psycho Cut has not been used before now with how impressive of damage that was up against that Farigiraf. But in any case, Regidrago will be the choice for Grant. For Brian, it's Indeedee. Indeedee will switch up the terrain, so it'll be Psychic Terrain now. Not that that matters a whole lot, as Rillaboom is obviously not on the battlefield anymore. It'll mostly prevent that passive healing from taking place. Now, some choices for each of these players. Regidrago has a pretty free Dragon Energy at this point. It'll do a ton of damage to both of these Pokemon. It should be faster than both of these Pokemon, given the low speed investment. Do the Follow Me. Both these Pokemon can use spread effects, or spread moves, so it won't necessarily do much, but Gallade will be taken down by the Dragon Energy. Indeedee nearly taken down by it. Ton of damage from that Regidrago. And the Dazzling Gleam from Farigiraf will pick up the last few pieces of HP on the Indeedee. 2 KOs this turn for Grant, and Grant has all the momentum going into the end of this one. It's just Armorage left to try to power through the rest of this. I think you gotta just click Expanding Force and hope, but I don't think this thing is going to take it. We're not going to find out. Grant with the quick, clean 2-0 victory over Brian. He'll move to 4-0. Brian will drop to 3-1. Still opportunities to get into Top Cut, but just well played overall by Grant. I really liked the play around the Trick Room there. It's a big thing because Grant has the Tornadus Incarnate, which has Tailwind, able to set up that speed control, but you don't really need speed control if the other team is controlling speed for you. And Farigiraf with that Imprisoned Trick Room is one of the best options at stopping other Trick Room users. So this is very much a team that is able to control the priority of the battle, control the speed of the battle in any way it wants. It can stop other Trick Room teams, it can set up Trick Room if it can't deal with a faster team, it can set up Tailwind. It's just a solid team built all together. With that, we'll take a quick break. We'll head to round number 5. So be sure not to go anywhere.